right, y'all, what's going on? This is the Wrist Flex show with Chrissy Mayer.
Hello.
Hey, we got some ish. It's the unsealing of the Epstein documents regarding the sexual allegations, Maxwell's involvement. There's over 2,024 pages in the document. Obviously, they've just been released, so everyone's barely scratching the surface with their findings. But so far, there's a lot of very juicy stuff. So
there's so much here. There's a couple people that have done a really good job, I think, in highlighting some of the key aspects, like Technofog on Twitter and Mike Cernovich, who we know. A lot of proof, like a lot of legit names being broken, like Alan Dershowitz for sure is on there, who point blank looked at the camera during the Netflix special. Filthy Rich was the Epstein documentary on Netflix. He looked at the camera and he was like passionately like, no, I've never had sex with an underage girl. I dare that Virginia girl to like come to me in person and make these claims. We're seeing that he's clearly such a huge liar. We have emails and also like court testimony Q&A where Virginia is being asked about, and Alan is named multiple times. Glenn Dubin, his name was on there. Stephen Kaufman, Prince Andrew, that we all know. No news there.
Regarding the Dershowitz, it's not even just Virginia Jeffrey's allegations anymore, because he's on the flight logs starting on page 464. The pilot, David Rogers, is the one that documented that. So that's not even like one of the girls claiming it anymore. He's on the log, so.
Yeah, and we know that these logs are also not the only way that people got to Epstein Island. I read somewhere that Ghislaine also had like a submarine license. She had like a pilot license as well. People getting there. I know. I'm just imagining her in a little like sailor suit.
What's her business in a submarine?
I have no idea. She's like a Jane of all trades. So people are getting there in ways other than Lolita Express, which means the flight logs are not going to tell the whole story of who was there. Jean-Luc Brunel, who I think was a big model scout guy, Bill Richardson, Marvin Minsky. There's also like a famous or like a well-known French hotel owner, and I'm not sure if it was one of these names here. Mm-hmm. Someone at one point was trying to, say that it was Trump, and it's like, no, they would have said, first of all, it would be out by now. It would be such a much bigger deal because they've been trying to take him down for a while. It's the more you read on this, the more you're like, there's more and more evidence that Trump cut ties to Epstein, years and years back when he found out he was.
I'll throw in the picture on page, I believe it's 1919, the interview asking if Trump was ever seen on the island or if he ever had sexual involvement is debunked on page 1919. I'll throw that one in. And then also the Daily Times put out an article describing one of the women who made the allegation. It turned out to be totally fabricated. I'll throw that in there also.
Wow. So yeah, these are like a lot of this is like obviously probably really hard for, I think, Virginia, because this is all she's going into detail about some of the sexual stuff, and they're asking her like what kind of stuff went down on the plane, what kind of stuff went down on the ground, and she's saying a lot of times it would be her. It sounds like a lot of three-ways with her and Jeffrey and Ghislaine, or sometimes just her and Jeffrey and
models.
And models, yeah. It would be sometimes Emmy, Sarah, Nadia Bjornik. There would be sexual conduct, foreplay. There's a bed there. Mm-hmm. So there'd be multiple villas kind of off of the main house. It would start off with massages, or it would start off with foreplay, and it would lead to, sometimes orgies. And massage was like the code word. Like Ghislaine would tell these girls, like, oh, go give so-and-so a massage. That was just kind of the understood code for like, I don't know, go jerk him off. Go jerk off this old man.
Code for like an erotic massage.
Yeah.
Sexual favors. And I'm looking at the Bill Clinton segment. So on Chernovich.com, Mike's his name?
Yeah, Mike Cernovich.
Mike Cernovich. He's the one that petitioned in court to get these documents unsealed. His name is on the top of the documents. And on his website, he has the entire document of over 2,000 pages. But he also references the Twitter account Technofog and the thread that he has created from some screenshots. And he, I believe in there, mentions Epstein said that Bill Clinton like owes him favors. And so that's why he was at the island so many times. And like that makes me wonder, like, what did Epstein do as a favor that now he owes him, you know?
Right. And it's like we know that there was a big painting of Clinton in Epstein's New York apartment of him like in a dress. And I have actually like seen proof that it was one of Hillary's dresses, because they show Hillary in like the exact same dress like out in public one day, and Bill is wearing like the same. You can tell by the ruffles down the middle and on the sleeves and like in the chest area that this was like one of Hillary's dresses that looks like Epstein commissioned, like had Bill painted in it, that was just hanging in his house. And he also, you know, Epstein would also say very, very confident. The more you read, Epstein was just so confident, just believed he wasn't doing anything wrong, or just believed he had the help and the backing and that he would just never go down.
Totally. And then there's even emails of him going back and forth in 2015 with Ghislaine, how he's basically training her on how to be confident with her lies. Like,
yeah.
Hey, just go out and party and be confident, even though these allegations are coming out, because you just need to believe that you never did anything, and then you'll be fine. And like, but stop like being scared and stop acting like you're a criminal. Like,
yeah. He needed her to be confident because it reflects better on him. And there's even a paragraph that in one of these emails going around from the jeevacation@gmail.com, one of Jeffrey's emails from January 21st, 2015, sent it to Ghislaine, basically a ready-made paragraph that I'm sure she could use for PR reasons and for interviews. Exact wording. Since J.E. was charged in 2007 for solicitation of prostitute, I have been the target of outright lies, innuendo, slander, defamation, salacious gossip, and harassment. Headlines of quotes I have never given, statements I have never made, trips with people to places I have never been, holidays with people I have never met, false allegations of impropriety and offensive behavior that I abhor. So many SAT hot words in here. And I've never ever been party to, witness to, events I have never seen, living off of trust funds that I've never had, party to stories that have changed materially, both in time and place and event, depending on what paper you read. The list goes on. And she also claimed that she hadn't spoken to Epstein in over a decade, yet here's this clear proof of email, you know, back and forth as late as 2015.
Right. So we've already caught her in one lie. That's just one. So we can obviously conclude she's lying about more than one thing. I also want to mention, as I was reading through, I came across a guy named Anthony Figuera. He is a prior bodyguard for Epstein. And I think he was also in a relationship with Virginia Jeffrey.
Wow.
And he also gives a testimony, Maxwell sexually abusing Virginia Jeffrey.
Wow. Yeah, we know that from what I've been reading, like that Ghislaine was like really controlling and pretty strict. She was like, you know, the lady of the house for the New York apartment, and I think also the Palm Beach estate. And apparently she was running all the households like on royal rules, like the actual like British royalty rules. Like she was telling all the workers, like, don't look Master Epstein in the eye, speak when spoken to, just sort of stay in the background, you know, just be sort of meek to it all. And the same thing with the pilots. Like they kind of told them, like, try not to come out, knock if you're going to come out. And it's like these pilots had to have known. They see these old crusty dudes bringing these young girls on board, and then they're also hearing, hey, don't come out, only knock if you have to. It's like they would put it together.
So not only were there clearly rules to the household, but it was almost like a total business model set up. Maxwell had a Lieutenant Sarah Kellen. She worked for Maxwell in like finding girls too. So it was like a pyramid scheme, and they were like the ones at the top.
Yeah, it sounds like the Navy. Like, what are we having first mates here?
Lieutenant Sarah Kellen.
It's crazy to me to the extent which Virginia's dad, it just sounds like he must have known what the hell's going on? Like, oh, she told her dad, well, this is a nice lady. She presents well. She's British. She's clean cut. You know, she's going to help me get this massage certificate and education. And he just, either this guy's like fucking dumb, or he knew what was going on, or didn't care.
I can add to that. It's in the documents. Gosh, let me give you a page number because I love being exact here. Let's see. Plaintiff Sky Roberts is the father's name. He was a maintenance worker at the Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Florida. And he's the one that got Virginia Jeffrey a job at Mar-a-Lago club working in the like massage parlor there. He knew that they were just seasonal workers there. And so he got her daughter a seasonal job. While she was working as a seasonal spa attendant there, Virginia Jeffrey met Epstein and Maxwell. They like came in to do something, and she just decided to go and work for Epstein on her own. Like she said, hey, I got this job opportunity. This person, like, you know, one of these random people coming in asked me if I wanted to be a personal masseuse for Epstein. And so Sky Roberts, Virginia's father, actually drove her to the Epstein house, I believe, for the first time, like for her first quote unquote interview. And Mr. Epstein comes out and like introduces himself to Virginia's father. And so they had like, you know, a little bit of a connection, like a relationship. And then also there's a document inside of the documents where Donald Trump says, signed, Sky Roberts, Virginia's dad, has been a most valuable employee at the Mar-a-Lago club since April of 2000. While employed as a maintenance crew team member, he has been responsible for maintaining the 5 championship red clay tennis courts, as well as keeping all of the individual air conditioning units working in tip-top shape. It is my understanding that Sky is relocating to Colorado. Should he ever return to Florida, he would be eligible for rehire. And it was signed by Donald Trump. So Mr. Roberts had a good relationship with Mr. Trump, which means that Virginia Jeffrey obviously has had, you know, contact with Donald Trump about this whole thing.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm getting back to like,
I think Trump really helped.
I think so. I've heard from different, you know, reporters, and from what I've read, that he's always been like really good for any interview and very helpful, and cooperated very much with any authorities. This was talking about like that first time that Virginia was kind of dropped off at Jeffrey's. They all met. He met Ghislaine. Exactly that. She seemed like a nice, proper English lady. So my dad left, and I had no problem getting home that night. One of her drivers would take me back after my trial. So she led me upstairs, Ghislaine, into Jeffrey's bedroom, and past that is Jeffrey's massage room, which has got his steam room and a shower and a massage table. And there's actually an extra room that nobody knows about. It's kind of like a secret room, and it's got a whole bunch of decorative pictures of pornographic literature and sex toys.
Oh, snap. Virginia Jeffrey has been in contact with the FBI this entire time. There's emails going back and forth between her and like FBI agents. After they raided the island, she contacted the agent that she was in contact with and asked if she could obtain the images of her that were there and any other related paraphernalia that she could use in court to assist with her case. And I don't think they responded or never went through or something.
This was, I'm seeing this on like, it's a screenshot, it says page 208, and on the bottom it says Virginia Jeffrey 5/3, 2006. Okay. And the question is, they're asking, where is the original of the photograph that has been widely circulated in the press of you with Prince Andrew? Did the photograph ever leave your possession for a while? And she said, I gave it to the FBI. And they said, okay, and when did you get it back? She said, when they took copies of it. When was that? 2011, when they came to interview you. So she had it from 2011 on, but she, I think, gave the photo. It's from March 2001. So it's like this photo was out of her hands with the FBI for a number of years.
Like, it makes you wonder, like, they've clearly known about this. Why did it take so long until now? I'm also seeing that Epstein signed off on a document from, I believe it's the FBI and DOJ, signed off saying that these victims were interviewed when they in fact had not been interviewed prior to this document being put together. So they were trying to bypass testimony, and they had, the right connections in the government to make that happen.
Wow. And then here's like a copy of this email. Virginia was trying to collect evidence so she could prosecute her civil case. And this is an email to Christina Pryor at the FBI, April 16th, 2014. Hi, Christina. I was wondering if you remember me from the Sydney consulate. I'm a victim in the investigation from the Jeffrey Epstein case. And I was wondering if you could tell me if I would be able to get a hold of any pics or videos that the FBI might have confiscated from any of the Epstein residences. Also, can I ask if you might have any of the flight logs that include my name in them to be sent to me as well? It's all for evidential purposes and would prove many of things to help my case. Kindest regards, Virginia. So this is like going back 2014. She's trying so hard to get the FBI to give her some of these evidence that they had confiscated.
Poor girl.
And it seemed like they were like kind of dragging their feet on that.
There are so many flight logs, by the way, which do start on page 464. There's some names that immediately pop out just in the first few pages, including Chris Wagner, who is a pro ice hockey player for the Boston Bruins. Oliver Sacks, I believe, is a British neurologist who had since died. Paul Mellon is a founder for Yale.
Wow. And then this is an email between Maxwell and Epstein, January 24th, 2015. I would appreciate it if Shelley would come out and say she is your girlfriend. I think she was from the end of 99 to 2002. So here they are trying to set up retroactively that Shelley dating him. And then they send all the places that the Terramar Project, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Pledge, the Daily Catch. Maybe those are places they want to send press releases to.
And one of many, because she's been trying to hold off at least on these documents being disclosed. I believe the judge actually denied that request.
Yeah. It really doesn't look good for Dershowitz. He was seen on planes. He was seen at the Virgin Islands. In addition to being a participant in the abuse and other minors, Dershowitz has an eyewitness to the sexual abuse of many of the other minors. Dershowitz would later play a significant role in negotiating the NPA on Epstein's behalf. Indeed, Dershowitz helped negotiate an agreement that provided immunity from federal prosecution in the Southern District of Florida, not only to Epstein, but to any potential co-conspirators of Epstein. Dershowitz helped negotiate an agreement with a provision that provided protection for himself against criminal prosecution in Florida for sexually abusing Jane Doe 3, which is Virginia. Because this broad immunity would have been controversial if disclosed, Dershowitz, along with other members of Epstein's defense team, and the government tried to keep the immunity provision secret from all of Epstein's victims and the general public, even though such secrecy violated the Crime Victims' Rights Act.
Page 147, there's a snippet of an article where Virginia Jeffrey went public because, the government wasn't doing anything. She went to the FBI. She went all of these measures. They weren't doing anything. They were dragging it out, delaying to prevent the case from ever, coming to conclusion. So she was taking it into her own hands. She was going to media outlets. And there's this one article on page 147 where she also mentions Donald Trump was a good friend of Jeffrey's. He didn't partake in sex with any of us. So she says it there. Also there, she does mention the Naomi Campbell. That was the birthday party. That is I think it's blacked out of some articles, but it's open in a lot of others. Naomi Campbell's 31st birthday party, Virginia Jeffrey was attended. It was a sex slave there. Of course, Naomi Campbell claims that she didn't know at the time what's going on. It's like,
oh my
how
God.
many allegations, how many of your friends have to be caught? People are just dancing around with the devil here.
Yeah. And here's a Q&A from what you're talking about. Naomi Campbell's birthday party. Where did you have sex with the owner of a large hotel chain in France at around the time of Naomi Campbell's birthday party? It was in his own cabana townhouse thing. It was part of a hotel, but I wouldn't call it a hotel. Jeffrey was staying there. Ghislaine was staying there. Emmy was staying there. I was staying there. This other guy was there. I don't know his name. I was instructed by Ghislaine to go and give him an erotic massage. She used the words erotic massage. No, that's my word. The word massage is what they use. It's their code word.
And so Naomi Campbell, I just have to back up and say this. Her boyfriend at the time was the one that had the party for her, held it, invited everybody, invited Epstein, and introduced Naomi Campbell to Epstein. So again, how is she going to act like she didn't know who he was, or she didn't know anything that he did, or like didn't know the people that he brought? It's just BS. It's total BS. And also the picture, another picture that's in this article, it's a picture of Hillary Clinton, Obama, and George Mitchell. And it's titled Jeffrey's Crew. Frequently visited Epstein's New York residence, claimed Virginia. And then there's this picture with Obama, Hillary Clinton, and this George Mitchell. Virginia said that it was Jeffrey's crew. And they frequently visited his New York residence.
Gross. Yeah. And there's other proof here. Where were you when Mrs. Maxwell, when she directed you to go have sex with Marvin Minsky?
Marvin Minsky.
It was the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Had age gap. Oh my God.
Former MIT scientist Marvin Minsky. He's old and gross as fuck. We'll have to put up a picture.
AI scientist, artificial intelligence scientist. And these are people we're trusting.
We're noticing a trend here. Just deny, passionately deny. That's the cool thing to do.
Oh, brother.
Wow. It's like, I mean, I guess this thing that Dershowitz wrote up was just a real sweetheart deal. And, you know, he was on the inside of it. He wrote it. So no wonder he came off so confident. Although I heard, I was like reading on Twitter, somebody was like, oh, my wife is like a body language analysis. And as they were watching Dershowitz on the Netflix special, they were like, oh, body language wise, he looked very scared and freaking the fuck out.
You know, the funny thing is, all of these people, they've like turned off the comments on their Instagrams. Like they just don't want to, they're trying so hard. Heidi Klum, look on her Instagram. She turned off her comments right after
she's one of these people that was named at the party. Yeah. Wow.
It's so funny. Like they know that people are wanting to question them about it and they just don't want to respond. They don't want it on their page. Like, come on.
Heidi
At least publicly say like, hey, I'm sorry. Like they're not doing anything. They're just
Yep. No commenting at all for Heidi Klum on any of her Instagrams. Probably frustrating for a lot of people because they want to see a clear-cut list of names. A lot of this stuff you have to dig for and hunt through and look through hundreds of pages. And that's what's good about this Techno-Fog guy. It looks like he's been doing that and highlighting and posting a lot.
Matt Groening, did we go through these?
Oh, God, that kind of breaks my heart. He's like the main guy for The Simpsons.
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Scandalous. Former VP of the U.S.
You know, it's like they're kind of the most out there on this. We've been seeing now like hint after hint after hint.
And they're just bastards. Like none of them are turning themselves in. None of them are making public apologies. And it just makes them look worse.
Just denying everything.
Naomi Campbell said like, I'm with the victims. Like at least she said that.
Glenn Dubin was named in the Epstein files. As we know, according to this report from 2019, Epstein dated his wife and wanted to marry their daughter.
Oh my
God. Called him Uncle Jeff. This is in the New York Post. Wow, this is from December of 2019. Yuck. This guy's effing gross.
Apparently, I saw a news article back from like 2019 where Hillary Clinton tried really hard to silence a bunch of victims that were claiming Bill Clinton sexually abused them. Like, we're talking about devils here. We're talking about satanic worshipers. Oh, also, another bodyguard of Epstein's, Zinoviev Igor, he claims that Epstein had people assist him with his murder, whatever that means. He didn't go into detail with it. He said, I'm not going to get too detailed with it, but all I'm saying is he had people help him carry out the hanging, which God only knows what that means. I mean, if you have people help you, come in to help you with it, you probably had people help you come in and pretend you were rolled away in an ambulance.
Right.
And we already know that these people are utilizing paid ambulances and fake ambulances for these types of things through Borat.
Oh, Borat.
Borat had a paid fake ambulance as a part of his act when he went to the 2A rights rally and like hijacked it.
We know Epstein had his own ambulance on the island.
Like it seems like when you're reading the document, it's very in favor of Maxwell and Epstein. Like, they throw in every once in a while these weird interviews. Like, by the way, this person doesn't know anything. What's the relevance to the case? We got
as more comes out, we'll for sure, be updating.
And stay tuned. Chrissy Mayer, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Riz.
And stay tuned, y'all. All right, bye.